Welcome. This is Jared with Real Building Blocks, where we teach you how to build up your business one block at a time. Today's sidebar is called Be Wary of Ancillary Services. Now, you might not know what that means, so let's break that down for you. An ancillary service is a complementary service that complements something else. So, for instance, if your photographer says, "Oh, yeah, I build websites," that's an ancillary service. It's not their primary focus, it's something else that they say they can do in order to sell you more shit. And that is what I'm talking about. So, whenever you're looking at working with someone, make sure that the service that they're offering is what they actually do and do well. I'm actually probably going to have to terminate a contract because of an ancillary service that was done. So I'll tell you that's the story. So there's a martial arts school that I was hired to do their SEO and their marketing, and I first things I'm going to do is I'm going to run an audit, and once I run an audit, I'll be able to tell you know exactly what type of roadmap I'm looking at to actually unfuck all your shit. Pretty standard stuff. So I ran the audit. I saw what needed to be done. I went and located their competitors in their area, ran an audit on them. Uh, so I have a full picture of what needs to be done to kind of unfuck their shit, all while not even having access to the website. So uh, they're using a software called Kicksite, and Kicksite is a student management CRM type ecosystem. It is made for martial arts schools so that they can. It was originally made for like karate, taekwondo type schools, kick site, but they've expanded into you know other areas of martial arts as well. And so they're fairly decent software. From a software perspective, I don't have anything bad that I can say about them because I don't know that much about their software. What I know is that people pay them and they like it. That's about it. So, Kicksite also has an ancillary service to build and maintain your website. So, right out the gate, that's a red flag for me because now I have to work with another company to try to achieve the same result. And anytime that you have to be put into that situation, it's always a bad thing every time. I've rarely been forced to work with another company and it been a good thing. Excuse me. So, yep. So Kicksite built their website. Um, and before I even got access to the website, I did all of my audits and my reviews and the topical analysis, which is where you look at the website and just see what you see, try to figure out what's wrong and stuff like that. And it's a good looking website for the most part. There's a few things that I would definitely change, but overall, it doesn't look bad. It has a good theme. It has a good blend of you know color and contrast, and the fonts work really well, and it's a decently made website. However, it wasn't built for SEO at all, and that's very noticeable whenever you start diving into all the issues that they have for SEO. So that raises a lot of questions. You know, how did you build the website? How do you maintain the website? What tools did you use to put into it? All kinds of stuff like that. So naturally, if I'm going to work on a website, I'm going to want access. So I requested admin access, and they didn't give me admin access. Instead, they asked me, "What do you need access to?" Well, that's a red flag. And the reason why it's a red flag is because I know that you can create a user role to give people access to specific things. And this is a WordPress website. So everyone and their mother who works on WordPress knows when I say I want admin access, they know what that is. Everyone knows what that is. There's no getting away from that. So when I asked for admin access, they gave me an editor role, which means I can update content, but I can't do shit else. Okay, well, that's a problem. So after a little bit of back and forth and some heart to heart emails and an actual freaking Google Meet call with their lead, their manager who operates over all the freaking websites for all their customers, I talked to them. I talked to this dude, and I don't know if he was playing stupid. I don't know if he is stupid. Based on how he was talking, I don't think that he is stupid. I think he's just playing stupid. But what I do know for a fact is that they care more about retaining their revenue than they do about being useful and helpful and adding value. That's what I do know because I got my role changed and it was what I would consider an admin light, which means that I got access to more things, but I didn't get access to everything. And that's still a problem. I still am going to have to send them an email and say, what the fuck is going on here? You didn't give me the access that we talked about. And they're going to come back and say, well, you can do the same thing that you need to do in other ways. And I'm going to say, no, bitch, that's not what the fuck we're doing here. And then I'm going to end up terminating the contract anyway. So that's not a fun conversation I want to have. But if they gave me access to everything, then I could see everything. And I'm going to need a full picture of what's going on in order to actually fix it. And I don't have that. And because I don't have that, I can tell you right now that the client isn't going to be able to do anything different either. So here's what they did, right? Imagine that you have a section on your website and there's two columns. In one column you have an image, and the other column you have a title and a paragraph. So in a normal scenario, I could manipulate everything within that section, no problem. In this scenario, I can only edit the text for the heading, for the title, and for the image, and I can't edit anything else. So that's going to be a problem. So because this website is so constrained and the only thing that can be edited is the content, there is a problem there. So what that means is for all of us developers out there, we do stuff like this whenever we don't want the client to fuck up the website. That's exactly what we do. Whenever the client needs to edit something, but they don't need to edit the design, that's the shit that we do. I can count on one hand how many times I've done that in the past 12 years because at the end of the day, it's not my website. Someone else paid me to make it. Additionally, you're kind of a dick if you don't give people access to their own website. So, what I typically do is I will create two user roles. One of them is an admin, and the other one is an editor. And then I will give the client editor access as their primary, and then we will use their admin access as a firefighter type of role. For instance, whenever I was doing logistics, we were using SAP for this one company, this one organization, and there's a specific role in SAP called firefighter. And basically, This person will act as a firefighter. When a fire comes up, they show up, they put out the fire, and then they get out of there. So they have some pretty crazy access to be able to fix things that are broken when they need to, and then they get out of there. So that is the way that we approach admin access for clients. Use it as a firefighter. Break in case of glass, or break glass in case of war or in case of fire. That type of situation. That's how we manage that, because we know that clients are going to fuck it up, and a lot of times they do. But if we educate them in something as simple as, hey, this is your primary account, and if I die, here's your admin access, they at least are covered, and they know to not use their admin account, and they know to use their normal account first. And they feel better because they're not able to fuck things up as much. And they feel better because if something did happen to me or the agency, then they could still do whatever they need to do. That is a better approach than what happened here. So these guys are focusing completely on their revenue and not fucking up the website, even though I completely need access to everything because the website's already fucked up. So I can't fix it without admin access, which is pretty crazy shit. So this is what I'm talking about, because this is a software company who has this extra ancillary service as building a website for you. And the website is, in the grand scheme of things, if you just want to check the box, it does fine. If you do not care about marketing and SEO and advertising and growth, if you don't care about any of that shit, hire them. You're going to get what you pay for. And that's not to say that it's not a good website. I'm just saying that it's not a great website. It's good for what it is. It's a check in the box. For a check in the box website, it's pretty fucking awesome. But you don't grow by checking a box. You grow by exceeding that box for which the check is being placed. Right? There's a story, there's a quote from the movie. It's called Founder, the story of McDonald's. And in this movie, the guy from The Office who was working on The Office, that guy, I can't remember his name, but he says, you don't grow an empire by selling a 15-cent hamburger. You grow an empire by owning the real estate for which that hamburger is cooked upon. That is what I'm talking about here. It's the same premise. You cannot grow your business by letting a third-party software company that you're paying for your software to also build your website. And this is the same thing. It's a trickle-down effect too, because there's other agencies out there that do not make websites. They don't specialize in websites. And in reality, there's a lot of graphic designers out there building websites. But I can count on one hand how many graphic designers that I know of that actually build good websites. One hand. So that means all the other ones out there are just in it for the money. And here's what I mean by that. I've actually been told directly why a graphic designer got into making websites, because they were charging $100 for a logo, but they could sell a website for $2,000. That's why they started making websites. And that is fucking crazy, right? And the reason why that's crazy is because the answer is yes. Could you make your own website? Yes. Could a graphic designer make a good website for you? Yes. Could a or could they make a website? Yes. Could anyone else make you a website? Yes. Even there's even AI tools that'll make you a website. That is not what I'm talking about. If you just want to check the box and you are not looking to make more money and you are not looking to grow, yeah, go over there. That's the same thing as, go freaking hire somebody on Fiverr. That's no different than that. That's basically what you're saying. What you're saying is my business and and my organization and the people that work for me and my family do not mean shit to me because I am not investing in a quality website. That is kind of what you're saying. And I know that this is true because I've fucking looked at too many websites. Just a couple weeks ago, I went through 40 different websites and created videos on and reviewed them, did a topological analysis of these websites, and they all had problems. I mean, I'm sure I could look at my own website and find problems, but still, a lot of these guys had a lot of problems. And some of that is because they didn't pay enough for the website. And it's not a money thing. It's a quality thing. If you, I'll put it like this: I have 20, 20 or so people that reach out to me on a regular basis because they can't do what they sell and they come to me looking for advice. There's a guy um, out of Texas, there's a guy out of New York, there's a guy out of South Carolina, there's a guy out of Florida, there's a guy out of the UK, there's two guys out of the UK. There's people all over the freaking country. There's a couple of dudes out of Australia. All of these guys make websites, and they come to me for answers because they know that I know the answer, and they know that I don't even have to look shit up to give you the answer. And here's the problem with that: collectively, all these guys sell websites more than me. Every one of these guys make more money than me selling websites. Why is that? Because, well, I don't want to dive into all of it, but some of that is because of price. I guarantee you, I charge a lot more than they do. I know I do. I know what they charge. I'm charging probably 3 times what they would charge. So, because of that, a business owner is more inclined to hire them because they perceive the cost to be lower in relation to what they perceive to not be a quality website. How do I say that? If you don't give a shit about your website, you're not going to pay top dollar. That's kind of what I'm saying. So there's all these people out there who have these ancillary services that just do websites because they can make more money off of you. And that's the people that you want to stay away from. So here's what I mean by this being your primary focus. There are 3 things about making a website that I love doing. The first one is integrations. I like connecting the dots. I really do. A lot of those dots can be connected without writing code, which is sometimes pretty cool. But I like connecting the dots. I also like doing the actual building part, even if I'm using a builder type tool for WordPress. I like doing that, but I'm not a designer. Um, I'm a fucking code junkie. That's what it is. So I can build shit all fucking day, but I got a problem designing something from scratch. And if I were presented a design, I can tell you that it looks like shit. I can tell you all day how bad it is. And in a lot of cases, I can tell you how to make it better. But I can't go create that from scratch. I've never been able to do that. I probably won't ever be able to do that. I could go find a website that exists and say, I kind of want this and work off of that, which is what I typically do anyway whenever we don't have a designer available. I'll go find a website that I like. I'm like, yep, that's the one. And I'll pull it up over here and I'll build it over here because I'm not a designer, I'm a developer. And on top of that, I'm a full stack developer slash software engineer, depending on how you look at it. So I love writing code so much. The past 2 months, I have written the least amount of code in the past 2 months than I have in the past 3 years prior. And it is soul sucking to not be able to write as much code as I want to because I live and I breathe code. And so when I get the chance to do it, I do it well. I would prefer nothing more than to just write code. If someone were to offer me a job right now, remote, 100 plus K, writing code, I would take it. I would not hesitate. Now it's going to depend on what code language for the most part, but if it's within my wheelhouse, I'll fucking take it. I don't care. Because that means I get to write code. On top of that, I also really like doing SEO. I don't like doing accessibility, but I'm really good at it. When I was working at a Fortune 500, I did a lot of their SEO, and I did a lot um, of their accessibility as well. But I did more SEO than accessibility. But still, I couldn't even quantify how much stuff I did for them while I was there. And that's a pretty crazy thing for me because my entire career I've spent quantifying my worth, which is something I learned early on. And I when I was there I ran out of the ability to quantify it because it's just so much shit. It was hard to keep up because there was too much. It was crazy. Anyway, so I like actually building the website. I like integrations. I like SEO. And then on top of that, I like writing code. That's just how I'm wired. That's who I am. That is what I'm talking about. So I say all of that to say this: the quality of product that you're going to get from me versus someone who doesn't know what the code is going to be quite different. And the reason for that is because other people are going to be looking for solutions that they can fix with their mouse because that's how all these tools are built. All these tools are built in a way so your mouse is how you fix the problem. And the problem with that is that your mouse isn't always the solution. Sometimes it's your keyboard. Sometimes you just got to crank out a line of code to fix a problem. And if you can't do that, then you're going to be limited. And if you're limited, then you're overselling yourself. And if you're overselling yourself, then the value of what the client actually receives is less than what it should be, which also typically translates into you're charging too much. So, a lot of chaos there. And yes, I'm talking shit. I don't care. What I do care is when I have talked to a lead about their website and they said that I'm too expensive, and then they go to the next guy who I know provides substandard work and they hire that guy. That is what sucks. And that's a problem that I have to deal with. I understand that. But at the same time, it hurts because I know that I do better work. It's hard to really convey into words sometimes. But the moral of the story is that if there's a software out there that you're paying for and they offer to build your website, don't fucking do it. They don't care about you. They don't care one bit about what your website's going to do for you. Just like Kicksite, they don't build good websites that perform. They check a box. I can say that with full confidence because I've seen how they build websites. I've seen the SEO impact that they provide. It is substandard against every possible measure. I've seen for all these companies out there providing ancillary services, these other agencies that don't build websites or now selling websites, I've seen what that looks like, and it looks like shit. And the only way that you're going to get away from stuff like that is to be able to recognize who does that and to recognize who actually knows what they're talking about and who doesn't. And in today's world, that's a hard thing to do because even the substandard people know how to talk up a good game. And that is where things become challenging. So I'm actually going to put it on my list to try to figure out how to help you guys vet people. Yeah, it's definitely a hard thing to do, but sorry, I've rambled on enough. So I hope that was good information that's going to help you uh, make better decisions in the future. All right. Excuse me. So this is Jared signing off. You guys build a block today.